Hello, and welcome to the tutorial on colloidal particles, coagulation and flocculation. As we know, coagulation and flocculation are essential processes used in many industries: biochemistry, cheese manufacturing, pictured here, rubber manufacturing, and in the water and wastewater industry. I think most of you will be familiar with different types of coagulants and are likely very practiced in the flocculation process. After all, it's a water treatment process that has been around for a long time. In fact, alum coagulation was first used in water treatment in England as far back as 1881. But today, and now, we're going to explore and attempt to understand why colloids are in permanent suspension and how coagulants are used to aid the settling process. The material in waters and wastewaters arise from land erosion, the dissolution of minerals, the decay of vegetation, and domestic and industrial waste discharges. For a given water or wastewater, such material may comprise of suspended and dissolved organic and inorganic matter and numerous biological forms. These can include mineral substances, small aggregates of precipitated and flocculated matter, silt, bacteria, plankton, viruses, biopolymers such as plant cells, cellulose, and macromolecules, lipids or fats. Colloidals are effectively in permanent suspension. And this is due to their inherent characteristics, which promote their stable nature. The term stability refers to the capacity of such particles to remain as independent entities within a given dispersion, such as a clarifier. And there are two main things at play that allow for such stability. One is interfacial phenomena, and the other, two, is the hydrophobic nature. Let's take a look at interfacial phenomena first. Interfacial phenomena. All colloids have properties associated with interfacial phenomena. These are the forces that occur between surface and interface of particles. These include a surface charge carried by the particles and is also due to colloids possessing a colossal surface area relevant to their mass. They have a small mass and a very, very large surface area. Helps them to float. Let's take a little closer look at surface charge. Surface charges are generated in a few different ways on particles. Let's have a little look at them. Isomorphous replacement. This is metal oxide mineral being replaced by metal atoms. This results in negative charge to a crystal material such as clay particles. Structural imperfections. In clay and other similar minerals, imperfections in the formation of the crystal or broken crystals can lead to a surface charge. Preferential adsorption of specific ions. Particles that absorb natural organic material, NOM, and have a negative charge because of the carboxylic acid group in a pH greater than 5. Lastly, ionization of inorganic surface functional groups. These are minerals containing surface functional groups such as hydroxyl that give them a charge depending on the pH. So all the different ways to have a negative charge in a colloid. All right, let's have a look at the hydrophobic nature colloids have. Hydrophobic nature. Hydrophobic is water attracting. This allows particles to remain in suspension because they love the water. It's opposed to a hydrophobic nature. This is pictured here. This picture is a human cell wall. It's made up of lipids. These are fats. Fats are hydrophobic. They repel the water. This keeps everything in the cell inside and everything outside the cell outside the cell. Particles in water that are hydrophobic repel the water. They aggregate easily, which means they flock together and join, and they can settle or float on the surface. Well, I think we have a better understanding now of particles, colloidal particles. Now we have a tank here, and this tank is a suspension. and it's full of colloidal particles. It's pretty clear they're not going anywhere. They're not going to settle on their own. So what are we going to do? Add chemicals, of course. Chemicals, coagulants, or flocculants. These chemicals are used to assist with the removal of color and turbidity present in untreated raw water. They do this by forming settable particles in the form of flocks, which are then removed in a downstream clarification or filtration treatment process. Coagulants may be classified as inorganic or organic. Inorganic chemicals include those commonly used in such as the aluminum or iron types. Organic coagulants are known maybe as an example is a polydadmac. So what do these polymers do? They destabilize the colloids. There's 3 mechanisms that allow this to occur. Let's have a look at those, and then we'll finish up our tutorial today. 3 things to look at. 1, adsorption and charge neutralization. When metal coagulants are added to water, several hydrolysis species are formed. Some of these species are positively charged, depending on primarily the water pH. These positively charged species will attach to negatively charged particles, the colloids, and reduce and neutralize the particles' negative charge, so they can settle. Enmeshment and in a precipitate, sweep flock. When metal coagulants are added to water, precipitates of metal hydroxide or metal carbonate form. This is depending on the dosage and the water chemistry. But these particles can enmesh into the amorphous precipitate known as coagulant flocks. So they join up with the negative charge and mesh together. Lastly, absorption and interparticle bridging. This is done with polymers. A high molecular weight polymer with long chains will attach to the surface of a particle. The remaining length of the chain extends out to the solution, thereby increasing its size and its weight, and it will also allow for settling. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial, and we'll be seeing you soon for more.